Thank you very much. I'm Igor. I'm CTO and co-founder of JetRockets. And today I'm going to tell you a story about how we spent 4 years building React single-page application, and it actually made our lives a lot harder. And then we make a decision to switch back to Rails. And yeah, it's not a React bashing talk. I'm not going to do this, but it's an honest postmortem about choosing the right technology at the right time and using this technology. So, okay. Something is going on here. Unpredictable. Okay, I will do it like this. So, a couple of things about myself. I've been building Rails applications since 2009, probably, and this is very good. Some of you who are now in this room didn't even use any web framework at that time. I started using Rails. And I'm CTO and co-founder of JetRockets, and I'm a Docker captain. So if you have any questions about Docker after the talk, feel free to ask me. And luckily, this is not my first Tropical Rails talk. I'm a serial Tropicaner. I consider myself serial Tropicaner. Thank you very much. Let's go. I'm a serial immigrant. Besides being a serial Tropicaner, I'm a serial immigrant, and originally I'm from Russia. Since March 2022, we have lived in Georgia as a country, and then we moved to Georgia, the state. Yes, I have a type. Yes, at least both of these places have a good food tradition. The story that I want to tell you today is about the project that is called Safari Portal. Safari Portal is a product that we've been building since 2020, and with our client, her name is Rachel West, and I will just provide you some context so you will understand better what I will talk about. 6 years ago, Rachel asked us and gave us a brief, asked us to build a solution for luxury travel agents, travel providers. Imagine yourself having a safari in Africa or a luxury trip in Japan. This is what this product has been used and was developed to. And we decided to build a React single-page application. And there was a reason for this, because I want to be clear, it was not a thoughtless decision. Yes, we had a real defensible reason. The UI was going to be very complex, and we, as I'll show you in a moment, the Rails frontend at that time wasn't ready for what we were going to build. And now consider yourself having a time machine, yes, and let's go back to 2020 and understand, refresh what we had there, yes. So in 2020, we had Rails 6, which landed in April of 2019. And besides having Rails 6, we had a Webpacker, yes? Who used Webpacker knows what Webpacker was, yes? Do you remember this? Nice, okay. I'm not alone. We had Stimulus, who was released a couple of years before. And that's kind of everything. Turbo didn't exist yet. It was released in December of 2020, yes? And even the technology that powers up our application now was even not announced. DHH called it the new magic. Yes, I'm talking about Hotwire. That's it. That was the Rails frontend 6 years ago. Time flies. Yes? Very much. Okay. So what React had? React was on its, I think, biggest peak. So with React, we had a great ecosystem powered by React Create App. And we had proven patterns for complex SPAs. What is even more important is that we had components library, we had tooling, everything that Marco Ross showed today existed in React at that time, or almost everything. And what is even more important is that we had a hiring pool of people who were using React and who were on the market, and we were able to find them. So for a complex drag-and-drop itinerary builder, which we were building, React was a good technology of choice, and it was not a mistake of choosing it. Mistake was not to reassess how the world outside changed while we were still using everything that we started using 6 years ago. And again, to understand our situation, the product succeeded. We got some real good presence, and we got some medals, bells and whistles, and all this stuff. So it wasn't a failing project. We did a good job. And it was relatively big, almost 200,000 lines of code, some NPM dependencies. You know how they grow, yes, because every time you add and use something, you don't want to build anything, you just add. It is what it is. So, and the team was around like 12 developers working on it. I wish we had 20, but only 12. And then we made kind of very strange decision. We decided to switch back to Rails because the pain was constantly growing inside of the team. And there were some reasons. And reason number one, and I think the biggest reason, was the RDD. RDD is my own terminology. I introduced it while I was preparing the slides. And it stands for resume-driven development. So I try to explain you, because resume-driven development in Safari portal perspective look like absolutely defensible engineering decisions every stakeholder nods along to. So in 2020, you start using React, Redux, JSON API in Rails, and the full ceremony of modern front-end architecture solutions. And it works perfectly well. It works perfectly well for stakeholders. It looks very well in your resume. You're able to hire new developers. Everything was good. But what was it for the team? We paid taxes. And taxes were paid not only by growing lines of code and growing complexity. Taxes were measured in internal mental energy, yes? Internal mental energy of every developer who were working on the application and constantly switching from one model of mindset, I'm talking about Rails, to another model of mindset, I'm talking about this front-end solutions, front-end frameworks. For me, I've always been a back-end engineer, and for me it's very hard to understand what is going on front-end, what Redux is, how the state changed since I last time touched it, yes? For a front-end engineer, for a React engineer, to debug where the problem exists, the path was to start a Rails application and to understand what Rails is doing while he is clicking the button on the front end. So we paid a lot of taxes, and that's it. And even AI didn't save us. If you remember what AI looked like 2 years ago, yes, we got very first attempts to automate and very first attempts to automatically write the code of what we are doing right now. But AI was good in mono-repo applications. If you try to use AI, even now, if you try to use AI without any assistance in applications that consist of multiple code spaces, you probably will fail, and AI will fail. And this is what happened with us. At the same time, AI, unfortunately, we understood at the same time that two poorly documented systems and two poorly designed systems, AI can't deal with them. And at the same time, things got even worse for us, because in 2023, especially in the beginning of 2024, all stakeholders got to know about this new magic that is called AI. And we, in their eyes, from their perspective, we immediately became full-stack engineers, which is not really true. And at the same time, expectations shifted dramatically. So you probably heard these phrases like, if AI can write a code, if AI can write an application, if anybody can vibe code something, why it still takes you 2 weeks to develop a feature, yes? Yes, we are not alone, okay. And why are you writing this feature from scratch? Use AI, AI will do everything. This is what we heard, yes, in 2024. But it wasn't, in our situation, it didn't help us anyhow. And then things got even more worse, because in June of 2024, our client, Rachel, reached out to us and said, you know what? I have a great plan. I want to transform this itinerary builder into something bigger. We need to build 4 new features, honestly 5. There is a 5th feature, but originally we had 4. And these 4 new features, it's not something that will extend the original application. Yes, she had a vision of transforming itinerary builder into full-scale CRM solution. And this is what we had to do. And timeline was aggressive. Resources were limited. Nobody wants to give us more budget, unfortunately. And I quickly understood that this React Redux ceremony will not going to work for us because we will not be able to manage everything that we had to build. And our motto in 2024 was limited developers with unlimited ambitions. Yes, this is what our life was. And yeah, it's very funny to remember all these things now, especially for me because I went through this, yes, but at that time, I wasn't laughing, yes? It wasn't funny because client comes to you and says, you need to do this, you need to build this, I want this to get delivered within a year, and you're starting to find kind of how it can be done. So while Safari Portal was struggling with this React overhead, we were building other products at JetRockets, and all these products were built with Rails and Hotwire because everything was already released and available. And these were not a toy project, so we got a real experience of building applications without touching the front-end world more or less at all. And I noticed that those guys who work with these projects looked happier than those who worked with this current existing solution. And I remember a very clear moment when my partner and my big friend, Alexei Saridin, he asked me a very simple question. Like, if we want to build something faster, if we want to build better, why should we use React? Can we just wrap it with something and leave it as it is and start building all new features with Rails? And this was the key question that triggered all this story, the reason why I'm here on this stage, the question that changed a lot of what we do and how we do. Like, of course, immediately I got an understanding that we will face some problems, difficulties, you name it. Authentication can be a problem, deployment coordination can be a problem, but still we got this way of doing things, we got this idea and we started to develop it. And I would like to give you like an overview of what we did and how we solved all this. And to, first of all, to understand where we started, you need to understand what we had, yes? This was very typical infrastructure for every Rails/something front-end, some front-end framework application. So we had Nginx or something else sitting before 2 containers, one container or several containers were used for backend, several containers were used for frontend, and everything that has subdomain, API, or something was processed by Rails. Everything else was processed by the React container. And I was thinking where to start. And the infrastructure was the very first point, the starting point for all the changes that happened, because without changing the infrastructure, you cannot change the application. Yes, you don't have a handle, yes, and you need to build this handle. And I simplified everything to something like this. During this transition, we also changed this proprietary AWS solutions to Kamal. And then Kamal 2.0 was released, and you can listen to my talk last year on Tropical on Rails about Kamal 2.0. And we upgraded to Kamal 2 with Kamal proxy instead of traffic. And the only question that you probably have right now is, where is the React? Where React goes? You didn't show us the React, you only showed the Rails. React is there, right inside of the Rails container, because React in our situation was just another file that can be served by anything. We don't need a container. We don't need anything to serve React. We have Puma. We have Thruster. We can push React inside of the Rails public folder and serve it with Rails. When I say serve with Rails, I'm not kidding. This is a very simplified example, but this is how our roads look like right now. We have a catch-all road in the end of in the bottom of the file, and it forwards this request to the React controller with the index action. That's it. We don't need anything else to render React. Inside of the controller, depending on the environment, you can do different things. You can either render the file, or you can redirect user to the React Development Center server that you can run locally when you're developing your application. That's it, very easy. Of course, we had to share authentication somehow. Yes, I mentioned that authentication can probably be a huge, huge problem in this case. Luckily, we had Rodaus. I highly recommend everybody to, if you don't know what is it, I highly recommend to read what is it and to try using it, because Rodaus did almost all the work for us. And it's a gem published by Jeremy Evans. I'm a big fan of him and big fan of what he's doing. Rodaus is a middleware. And since it is a middleware, you can create whatever complex solution you need before your request will reach the Rails application. It's absolutely worked perfectly in our situation. So sign in, recover password, OTP page were rewritten in Rails. Not rewritten, but just extracted from Rodaus, and that's all. Everything else remains the same. We had two authentications, one for React that we had before, and another authentication configuration for Rails that used traditional cookie-based approach. And as I told you, with Rodaus, you can create whatever configurations you want and do some tricks with bells and whistles. And in our case, we had to share the authentication. After user gets to the sign-in page and enters his username and password, he gets a cookie, but React doesn't know about cookie. So what we did, we decided that it would be absolutely great solution to redirect user, instead of redirecting him to the page where he started his authentication from, redirect him again to a special Rails controller. And in this special Rails controller, we created two custom TurboStream actions. Before calling these TurboStream actions, we obtained tokens that can be used by React and just pushed this token to the local storage, and boom. After pushing this to the local storage, React has access to the token, and you have user authenticated with both cookies and with GWT authentication for React. It worked absolutely well, and it still works like this. We didn't change it for 2 years, and I'm absolutely happy with this. Deployment. Deployment was, in development, everything worked well, because we just started React development server, yes, as I told you. To deploy all these two code bases to the same container, we again did some very simple trick. We separated our deployment process into several jobs, and the first job, it built React. And after React was built, we pushed it to AWS, and again, we're still doing like this. And after pushing it to AWS, we copied it to the container that was responsible for running Kamal. And more or less, that's it. Inside of the Docker file, usually you, on line number 9, this is what you usually do. You do copy of all the Rails stuff into the Rails folder. Besides doing this, we also copied the React inside of public React folder. That's everything. in the end start Rails with thruster. And by doing this, you got your React application inside of the Rails public folder, and user does not know anything about the fact that you have two apps inside of a single code base. He can navigate from one page to another page. He can use all the features. He can do everything, and everything works really, really smooth and well. There were some problems, and these problems was not because we didn't know what to do. These problems existed because JavaScript ecosystem, even now, has a React monoculture problem. The best libraries like date pickers, multi-selects, drag and drops, text inputs, they are built for React. They are React only, React forever, and it's almost impossible to find anything if you're trying to get rid of React. Yes, like React dates, they have 12,000 stars. And the closest library ispeak that was used by hey.com now is archived. The problem is that DHH can say, you know what? You can use native date pickers from the browser. But in reality, you cannot, because you have a team member that is called a designer. Yes, we all have designers, yes? And this is where the reality ends. So this problem is not solved. We'll come back to it in a moment, but let's proceed. Luckily, we have turbo mount, and we have turbo mount because of Svetoslav. He's sitting there. Turbo mount gives you some flexibility, and we used it when we created a messaging system inside of the application, yes? And to create this message system, we used a service that is called getStream. And getStream has a React component built in, so you just need to use the component and somehow use it in your application. And this is how it looks like. This is the Rails app in red boundaries, and this is the React, yes? Turbo mount, in 2 words, it allows you to pass props to your React component and render it inside of Rails. What if you have an opposite? What if you need an opposite integration? What if you need to integrate React in Rails inside of your React application? Yes? The solution was very obvious and very straightforward and easy because it existed from the very beginning of the web. And the solution is called iframes. No, don't smile. It works absolutely well. I will show you. This is our original product, yes, our React application. And everything you see is rendered with React and created with React and all the things. Where the Rails is? Here is Rails. So we can render, since we authenticated in both applications, we can render Rails at any point in any part of the React application just by using an iframe. Do you see an iframe here? I don't see an iframe. User also doesn't see an iframe, so it works well. And even navigation works well. Navigation with Turbo works well inside of the iframe because iframe is isolated from the main page, yes? So everything that happens in iframe remains in iframe, just like in Vegas. Yes, we created some magic, we added some stimulus controller, but that's it, it works, and I highly recommend you, if you have the same task, look for simple solutions that may work and you will succeed. Don't overcomplicate. Yes, exactly. So what we got out of this 2 years of migration, it's running React and Rails is possible. Building new features with Hotwire is faster, and keeping the team in a good condition, and a lot of people here can agree with this, yes, is very important. And yes, we choose Rails. Many years ago, everybody here chose Rails. So we should try to do as much in Rails as possible. Rails is a one-person framework, and we cannot complain about this. This is absolutely true. We are coding monkeys, yes? We do, every day, we do a very routine things, yes? Usually we create index pages, forms, and some actions, and that's it. And I'm, as well as DHH, I'm proud to be a coding monkey. Yes, I'm not a guy who creates rockets. And forgive me, but you all are more or less the same. So do not overcomplicate things. Do not do the same mistakes as we did. 90% of CRUDs are the same. Almost nobody likes CSS of creating this, to create these CRUDs. And we can make a full stack developer more or less out of everybody. We need just special tools to help them. AI with Rails works perfectly well. I hope you know these tools like RepoPrompt and Superpowers Ruby, because it may boost you a lot and give you real superpowers. And one developer with AI and Rails and these tools with a good knowledge, with a good subscription, with a lot of tokens, can deliver bigger things and faster than previously 2 developers or 3 developers with inside of the team. This is how the situation looks like from a management standpoint. Yes, don't forget we all have managers, and they care about numbers. So we almost doubled number of pull requests closed by each quarter. And yeah, this is something that you can show to your stakeholders. What is the result? This is the result. Now it's showtime. It will be not as big showtime as you saw earlier today. I will show you one small thing. Before I will proceed, I want to share my gratitude to these wonderful people. You already know Alexei, my partner, who asked this question. Another guy is Rafa. He's also here in this room. Because these 2 people, they made possible what I will show you now. Before we will proceed to the showtime, just remember this very simple statements. Yes, everybody can be a full stack engineer, and nobody likes CSS. Yes, what are we missing in CSS? Why? Why we don't like it? Because CSS has an inheritance, CSS has a cascade, and those are problems. Yes, instead of having this, as a developers, as an engineers, we are looking for isolation, ease of modification, and reusability. And yes, there are different methodologies. There is BEM, there is CSS models, utility first classes, but they all require discipline and tooling. You cannot use them if you don't follow the methodology. If one person in the team follows the methodology, everybody should do this. And yes, you need to spend some time understanding what the methodology is. That's why nobody loves CSS. Of course, speaking from backend engineer position. And what do we need to solve these problems? It's quite obvious. A UI system. And I remember clearly that this is a good tradition of announcing UI libraries on this conference from this stage. So it wasn't done intentionally. I understood that I'm doing this for the 2nd time from this stage when I was finishing my slides. So excuse me, please. Last year we also had something similar shown. So what we end up with? We end up with UI library, component library, whatever you call it, interface library that is currently hosted under UI.JetRockets.com. There's a code, you can follow it and try to play with it. And I promise you will love it, okay? I promise you will love it because we require only Rails 7, View component, Tailwind stimulus. View component allows you to render your views with ERB. And as we know from Mark Roth's talk that was earlier, ERB is brilliant now, okay? You don't need anything except ERB. That's it. We have 30+ built-in components. We have AI. It's AI native friendly with Claude agent built in, with YAML description for every component. It's free. It's free. As in beer, as in freedom. And of course, it's heavily inspired by the React world because honestly, React did a great job, as we know. Yes, React changed a lot of the way we use developer libraries and the way we write our applications. And since it's inspired by ShadCN, it looks more or less like ShadCN with a flavor of ERB, flavor of Ruby, but you can be very familiar with it. And even more, UI kit. We didn't stop by building components, we built pages. And honestly, all these UI pages from UI kits, they were built by Claude. Yes, we didn't do it manually. They were built by Claude. This means that you can do the same with the components and build pages for yourself, because Claude does work really well with this thing. We have a VS Code extension. I am dreaming about changing this VS Code extension into integration with Herp. I'll talk to Mark Ross about this later, but I think it's possible. A theme builder and the gem. And the gem allows you to integrate quickly all this UI system onto your existing applications, and don't worry about copy-pasting components and doing this manual stuff. Finally, I want to play a very short video. Yeah, I will stop music. We don't need music. While you're watching the video, I want to say you something. So we are in 2026. We are in a moment of time when it's possible to build Rails only by using Rails, and to build absolutely perfect Rails application without any additional things. And I encourage every one of you, I encourage these companies that sponsor this event, I encourage Rails Foundation, Amanda is somewhere here, to kind of push all your efforts into building missing libraries that are currently existing in React world and all other front-end world, and make Rails absolutely independent of anything else. We are able to exist as an ecosystem, as a community of those who only use Rails, and that's it. I guess you get the idea, so we can just... it's not possible to switch the slide. No, that's possible. Thank you.